Welcome to the Shop Talk, and now our guest, Christian Treiber from Germany, master technician. And we're here to talk about just shop stuff, what we build, and our experiences here in shop. So, yeah, Chris, can you give us just a quick background on your work history?
I started at Rausch Automobile in Germany when I was 18. I've always been working on Porsches. I was there for 18 years. I did my master, and then I was like a master technician of the engine building department, the development, developing things like the CPR2, RT12, CPR3 engines, the transmissions, all these kind of things. Then I decided to open my own shop because I wanted to do more developments and more special things and not always just doing the same things.
And Roof wasn't
Roof wasn't doing, for me, not enough special things. I wanted to do more developments and get more into that. So I started my own shop 12 or almost 13 years ago now.
Were you part of the CTR1 or where did you work?
No, the CTR1 was already before my time, prior to my time, but when I started there, we started the CTR2 developing that already.
And CTR2 is basically starting from
93, exactly. We started from 93 Karrera basically, because the turbo was not available yet. Upgraded that to twin turbo.
What's basically in a CTR2? What is a CTR2?
The CTR2 is like an engine upgrade complete upgrade from the Karrera, also to a twin turbo. It was similar to the CTR1, the whole build basically, but it was then a 3.6 liter twin turbo, 520 horsepower, and then the CTR2 Sport had 560 horsepower, the bigger ones. A few special ones we also built with more horsepower, 600 and plus. One race car for Pikes Peak we made with 700 horsepower also.
So a CTR, a Pikes Peak CTR.
Yeah.
Is that the one that had double wing?
Exactly.
That's a cool car. That went to Pikes Peak. I thought I was just racing.
No, went to Pikes Peak.
That's a Pikes Peak.
Also, at my time at Roof, I did lots of traveling to the US very much, a few other countries also, but also country to the US. Also, to the owner of the Pikes Peak's car, I went and took care of his car.
During the Pikes Peak?
No, basically before, just to prepare everything and all that.
Cool. What is an RT12?
RT12 is basically also a base 997 Carrera, because the Carrera is always the first model that Porsche brings. So already when they bring a Carrera, we try to make a turbo or twin turbo, like that. We try to
before Porsche releasing their turbo.
Exactly. So the first RT12s were basically fitted with 96 turbo engines that were further modified to get more power. They were 720 horsepower about then. And then the later ones, we based already on the turbo engine of the 997. But it was the same power, but it was a smoother drive, so better torque. Didn't feel that crazy anymore, so kind of the older one feels
a little too wild.
No, not too wild, but we feel more.
Yeah.
The other one is smoother, but actually faster.
So that's what to do with the turbos.
No, it's the technical thing of the engine was different. The cam settings, the timing is different, that you can program, things like that. The newer electronics improve that.
So was there anything else besides, do you also do suspension work and electricals?
At Roof I only did all the engine thing, but was not into the other things. I started already learning to do all the programming and that on the ECUs at Roof, just by helping our program and watching and whatever.
Yeah.
But then when I started my own business, I worked me into that much more, because I think it's very important that the same person who builds the engine can basically program it. Or like at Roof, you have somebody that you do it all together, both understand exactly what you did, so knows what modifications are also needed then for the program.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's always hard to make a perfect product. If one guy does an engine, the other guy has the program.
And there's no coordination between the two.
Same on any engine upgrade, all the parts have to match together. You cannot just pick some things here, something there, something there. It's never gonna be a nice driving car or a nice driving engine. You always have to make the whole package has to be developed together. Yeah.
And the CTR3, what was it? What is this CTR?
That was the
first
CTR3
first Roof car that looked
different.
Quite different.
Yeah. The CTR3 was we started started with a stock chassis, and then the rear was cut off, and put a tube frame on the rear.
The chassis of what? Like a
996 chassis.
997.
997 chassis.
Yeah. Did the wheelbase change or?
Wheelbase chain was a little longer, yeah, because we converted to a mid engine. Then.
Yeah, so it's a mid. It looks like a Cayman actually.
Yeah, kind of looks
Before
like
even a Cayman came out.
No, I think the Cayman was already there.
The Gen 1 came
I think
there.
so. Yeah, we were already there also. Yeah.
So CPR
Probably
actually
similar time.
Yeah.
Similar time. Probably.
Okay, so after Roof, you started your own shop. You mentioned, yeah.
I started my own shop, and then started doing my own developments.
Yeah.
At the beginning, especially, we were doing a lot of also 996, 997s, all these cars. The turbos were a lot of cars there to modify. We did turbos with over 1,000 horsepower, all kind of things. But then, basically, the last years, more and more air-cooled cars are coming and asking for more, trying to improve them, make the whole car also like feel better, so more like the modern ones, more drivability, whatever. So you kind of start using all your knowledge and a little bit new technologies, and also putting that into the older engines.
What gets you excited, Christian? What kind of projects get you excited, and what's your approach? What's your philosophy?
What gets me excited? I mean, I think every challenge gets me excited. Trying to make not just reaching high numbers, but making a perfect drivable car.
Balance.
Balance. Yeah, that's balanced. That's the only way.
It's not always
makes you happy.
high horsepower.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense if it's not balanced.
Yeah. And usability, drivability, always
Exactly.
reliability.
Would you rather get challenged, like an engineering challenge, or would you rather refine something? Like, would you rather work on something crazy that someone comes up with, or would you rather have the same engine and then refining it over?
Yeah, actually, not too crazy things, because the too crazy things usually are not balanced. They will not work. It's just like something crazy.
Yes.
The best is always, you have a customer, you ask him, what do you want? What are you gonna drive on the street or track or just hills or only highway? So depending on what the customer is planning to do with the car, you can tell him what's the best for him. So it's always important to understand the customer, to know what he likes and what he's doing to make the perfect
For him.
Perfect
for the client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
if it's a race car, then we build a race car. If it's for his everyday mountain climb or weekend
it's always important to get to know the client, so you know what he needs and he wants.
And his expectations.
Exactly.
What makes a Christian build? What's your signature? I'm sure there's something that you do different.
What I do different, just make every part perfect. Not just parts and bits. You make the whole thing perfect. You make a whole development. That's basically my specialty. I mean, we don't just buy bits and bytes from everywhere. We have most of our parts specially made for us from different companies. I mean, Mali Motorsport makes our pistons, and a German cam company makes our cams, and all these parts made specially to my specs to make one working system.
Fully developed, not just slapping on the shelf from different guys.
Exactly.
That's
Also, we make our own muffler and exhaust systems, but also they are especially for this engine.
Yeah.
It's not the best exhaust beam in the world, but it's perfect to fit that development.
Yeah.
So you can never say this is the best piston and that's the best exhaust. No, it always has to. Whole thing has to fit together to be good at all.
Yeah.
And that's basically, I think, my specialty. With most of the people in the world just buying bits and bytes and putting it together.
They don't really know, okay, it's just the most expensive, or on paper it's the best, and slap it all together.
Yeah.
It's not as easy.
Exactly.
That's a value.
Yeah.
That's a value right there.
Yes.
So what's your favorite 911 to work on?
My favorite 911, I love the 993. That was like when I started, that car came out then shortly after that, and it was the new car. And I always loved these and love to work on them. They perform well, they drive nice.
How about the older stuff?
From 964 is also a very perfect car. The older ones are
It shares a lot with the 998.
Yeah, they share a lot. Yeah, the older ones, yeah, it's just a little rougher to drive. It's also fun to drive, but you don't have the comfort. So if you're just going like a little mountain drive, okay, the older cars are fun. They're smaller, they're lighter.
Yeah.
But if you're doing longer drives, the 964, 93 is much more comfortable.
Yeah.
And still can be fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I also wanted to ask you, since I know you're also a golf guy. It's like, what is it about the golfs in Germany? Why are people still obsessed with that? It's a people's car. It's the simplest car that you can think of, those Mark 1s. But what is it about those cars?
I think that's just the way many of us in Germany probably grew up. Many of our parents maybe just had a Golf for a normal day, daily driving car, and then kind of grow up with it. And but I want that too, but a GTI. That's I think kind of the way it happens. Why the Germans are into that Golf that much.
It's the first tuner car in a way.
Yeah.
What's the craziest Golf you guys have built?
Probably the pretty much craziest one was his car. It was a MK1 Cabriolet.
The one you were talking about at lunch, yeah.
I think at the highest thing we had probably close to 550 horsepower maybe. That was very crazy. That car was doing real 300 kilometers an hour GPS on the Autobahn. That's pretty crazy in MK1.
Cabrio.
Yeah. That was crazy thing.
And Philip, so we'll go to you now for this bit. What's your background in?
Yeah, also I study at the roof company in Germany with Christian together. He was my master at this time, and I started to build the air-cooled Porsche engine, maybe 3.2 liters. That was the kind of engine that I learned.
From the G 3.2.
Yeah, yes. And then also I'm very interested on the 997 turbo model, also RT12. That was the high-class model at the time that I started my learning, and also very interested on gearbox system. Christian showed me all he can.
And so 997 is your favorite specialty.
Yeah. And also we tune 997 turbos by side, and this was the fastest car. And nobody can catch you with this car at this time. Maybe it was 2010.
Yeah, something like that.
So with a small upgrade to 620 horsepower, that was the masterclass.
So why couldn't they catch you? But you were saying you were already building 800 horsepower.
Yeah,
or
but
that
was later.
Wasn't there yet.
That was later. So at this time, I built my own Golf one with 500 plus horsepower, and then I sell everything and buy a 997 turbo model finally.
Yeah.
So then I built 620 horsepower at the engine, but this was not enough for me. Two years later, I put the engine out and make second upgrade to 850 horsepower.
To do that, what do you need? You change.
Yeah, you have to change the turbocharger back to the 996.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the VTG turbocharger cannot handle the airflow.
That's an electronic turbocharger. What was the VTG?
The VTG is a variable automatic inventory,
Yeah.
so they cannot handle this kind of power. And you have to change the air intake, the exhaust also. The exhaust I make with Christian together, special exhaust with flaps.
Was that also the Cabrio?
No, that was
My camera.
You're 996. You have a
996
Cabrio monster also.
Yeah. So then we have maybe same car. He have Cabrio, 100 horsepower more, but we are same fast.
Always think fast.
What was the engine of your Golf?
That was
It's a different goal. Is it a different goal for
No, the
Golf?
500 horse. 500
yeah, that
horsepower.
was 1.8 16V.
The 1.8T.
16 valve.
Yeah, 16
Oh,
valve.
just 16 valve.
Yeah.
Like the
Really?
SK2 16 valve.
But
engine.
turbo, with the turbo.
With turbo.
Yeah,
With the turbo.
Oh, you brought it up.
without turbo.
Oh.
That was not turbo motor. So we put
Upgraded to
upgraded
upgraded
to
turbo.
It was a non-turbo.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that engine?
best engine.
It's the
best engine for tune, and also
Really?
at this time, so I have only a Golf that I have already. So okay, I was looking what can I do, what can we make on this car to make it faster, and I choose this kind of engine because Christian recommend, and he have also many experience about this engine. He grew up also with this engine, yeah.
Many of these engines.
Yeah. And yeah, we built this engine together, and we go also to the quarter mile racetrack. I was the fastest cabrio there.
Simple but kicks
Yeah.
ass.
So yeah.
And like, so let's now talk about like the engines that your favorite engine to develop. For mentioned the 993. You know, there are the upgrades, the 3-liter, and there is the 4, and people have seen 4.1s, or I think only up to the 4.
4.3.
4.3, but I don't think people even know about that yet.
Working about on 4.3s. I mean, what I've done a lot now the last years, I mean, I developed a 4.0 liter like almost 10 years ago or 9 years ago, maybe 10. And that worked out very well, and I mean, meanwhile, probably more than 20 of them are built.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very nice torque, it's revving nice, it revs up to 8,000, it has 420 horsepower about.
Yeah.
So that's actually like my favorite engine. First, we also started using ITB that we bought from a different supplier, but then I also wanted to make that better because there's some things I didn't like, so I designed my own ITB with a carbon fiber intake system that I have made special for me, and that gained us some more power also.
Is it the ITB that gains you, or is it the carbon? Because I still like magnesium. I still like the RSR magnesium.
It's not the material.
It's not the material, right?
It's just the design.
The design.
Design of the
So you
part.
improved on the design. You improved on that magnesium RSR.
Exactly.
So you created like a better airflow.
Exactly. And I chose carbon because that's kind of what is done on many or what is done nowadays, and I like it. It's very lightweight, of course.
Yeah.
Also has like kind of a little special sound.
Yeah.
It's
So
a-
it makes a
gives you a different sound.
really
Yeah.
that DTS.
The rings a little bit.
Yeah, like the whole engine kind of that sounds like a little bit like an RSR engine.
Yeah. So let's.
And I mean, we're also working on more displacement on this build, but also, of course, again, we start developing everything. Because it doesn't make sense just putting up the displacement. You also have to change valves, cams, make the exhaust again for it. So you cannot just put up the displacement and say, okay, I'm gonna have 20 horsepower more now. You have to again do everything.
But reliability on like the 4.1 or 4.2, does it change? Is there any compromise with reliability? The more displacement you go, or
As long as everything is made correct, there's no problem. Of course,
so there's
you
no,
have to improve.
you know, people always are scared of
It's too
thin walls,
Yeah.
overheating, especially here in the country in the Philippines.
But these are all things that you
yeah.
can take care of.
Yeah.
You just have to develop the whole thing and make sure it works together, and then the reliability is no problem.
So basically, development is you can't just be so short-sighted with development. You have to look at development as a whole thing, like
Yeah.
not just buying parts and just having someone install it. It's, everything has to be
Matched
thought
together.
of.
It's almost like working backwards.
Clutch
Yeah.
to engine to oil cooling and
Yeah, exactly.
so let's talk about like the other people out there, the big companies that are running around. Let's say, of course, let's start with Singer, and the other guys like Gunterworks and So with Singer, what is your reaction? How do you like it or not like it, or what do you think about Singer in the last few years and what they are now also?
I think, especially if you look at the engines, of course, the car, because they look good. Yeah, if people want the backlit, nice looking car. Yeah. If I look at the engines, I always already see some things that I maybe have already also tried while development, and I know it's actually not perfect. So they could have improved that. And I mean, of course, then they need like the 4-valve Williams engine.
Yeah.
It's a very nice looking engine. Maybe they redeveloped everything. Maybe that's kind of, I'm not sure if that has to be done. So I'm working on a similar project, but we're not going to redevelop everything because I mean, Porsche, right behind us, for example, already designed a master engine with 4-valve technology. Okay, it was water-cooled.
Yeah.
But the whole valve train and everything is here. A tested system that works very well. On the RSR, they go 9,500 RPM.
So this head, this was actually on the RSR, also the 993 RSR?
No,
997
RSR. 9697, they always have the same thing. Basically, it's very similar. They made small changes. They made a little more lightweight pistons and everything. But I mean, basically, the valve train is exactly the same like here.
Yeah.
Right, don't have hydraulic lift is done, okay, but on this one, the stock engines, they also go to 9,000 RPM, for example. So my development or our development will be based a little bit on the GT3, but we are making our own heads, own piston cylinders, air cooled then again. Also taking some technologies from the RSR, improving it into our heads and into the intake. So taking all the things that are known to work well and
develop well by Porsche.
Yeah, develop that to our air-cooled 4-valve engine.
That's cool.
Developing the whole engine new life. I think it's not needed because this is an approved system.
Yeah.
So we can give the people a little bit of an intro. Like we're actually talking about what is this engine?
This is a 997.2 3.8 RS engine right here. And I mean, the 3.6 and the 4.0 work not much different.
Is this your
technically?
Is this your favorite engine, or is the air-cooled your favorite engine?
I do like the air-cooled more. I like the sounds of the air-cooled. You know, they sound different. You just hear the engine and stuff. You hear the piston and the firing more. You know. Yeah. I love these much more. And of course, I mean, these engines are already very high developed from stock. Like a 4.0 GT3 RS. There's not much you can do.
Not much
Not
more.
much that you can really improve.
Especially NA. I mean, you're not.
You can only gain another few horsepower by more displacement, little cams, but you cannot do much, you know. But
just because it was just so well
already so high developed.
Yeah,
I mean, Porsche did
like Mr.
many years of development to get to that, so it's like kind of at the end. That's why then also Porsche made a new engine for the new
because
cars.
this is already it.
That's already it. Yeah, so yeah, but I'm pretty sure the air-cooled GP3.
Yeah,
that will be
that'll
fun.
Air-cooled GT3.
Yeah. So also with 9,000 RPM, also with titanium rods and all that. So
what do you think about those Tuthill 11,000 RPM? You know, a lot of people are looking at that.
I mean, the development is okay if somebody wants just a real race engine. Because if they don't have variable camshafts and nothing, that means you only have a certain RPM range where you can really have good torque.
Yeah.
So, of course, if you're revving 11,000, you need power torque on the upper end. So, the mid-range will never be that good, especially not the low range. So, it's more like for a race car.
So you really have to bring it up there.
Exactly. But if you want a car that's also like drivable on the street, in the city, I think that technology is not the right one to choose.
And recently we've seen that company Reen online developing the 964 with a GT3 engine. What do you think about that?
This was basically just the test how will 964 work with that kind of engine and that kind of power output.
It's always part of the development.
Exactly.
Development process.
That's why this engine was put in that car. But it's very hard installing a water-cooled system in these old cars. Lots of boards. And then of course also you're missing your sound. That's what I like on the air-cooled cars. You're missing that sound. So this was just to test also the other technologies that we put in the traction control and many other things.
Are you using electronic dampers or
No dampers are normal.
the standard dampers?
KWR.
Yeah, I like the passive.
This car is just like a concept car for to see how will the car perform, and now our job is to make this air. Also, that car will become the air-cooled engine again.
Cool. So, well, when are we gonna see you here again?
I'm not sure yet, but I'm sure I'll be back, and I hope then I can also tell you more new things on our development we're doing right now.
Excited for that. The Philippines will already miss you. Yeah. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you very much.
Find more
Thank you,
projects.
Philipp.
Thank you.
Hope to see you here sooner also. Sooner? I think you're close by.
Yeah.
We'll find more projects and special wishes from people that you guys.
And basically, what you told me before is, like, and how I discuss ideas with you is, dream it, and we can discuss with you, like, is it possible, is it not possible? So,
We just have to know what is the customer looking for, what is he asking, and then we can try to fit something to suit him, suit his.
I mean, crazy stuff. We were just talking before about a PDK in an air cooled, and eventually it is possible.
It's possible. I'm working on it also.
That's cool.
So,
Might be actually easier to find than the manual transmissions.
yes, probably. Yes.
And why so that people know, why are manual transmissions to the 993 so expensive? Because when people ask how much is it to, of course here in the Philippines we have a lot more automatic cars, automatic 993, 964 than manual, and of course everyone's first idea is how much to make it a manual. And when I tell them the amount, it's a little like, wow, is it really that much? Why?
Yeah, because there's so many cars on the world that are converted from Tiptronic to manual. And the second reason is, the 993 has a 6-speed, the 964 is only a 5-speed, so also the 6-speed transmission is used for upgrades on the 964 to make it 6-speed. So there's like many transmissions needed, but not much there. You cannot get it new anymore, so the used ones are getting really expensive.
Yeah.
Talking about 20,000 euro.
Just for the gearbox.
Just
no pedals, no clutch, no slaves, no nothing.
Plus. Yeah. Only just the gearbox.
Yeah, 20,000 euros. It's already.
It's growing every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So thank you again, Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Having you guys here.
Thank you very much.
All right. Off to the airport. All right. Thank you.